As we mentioned earlier, Brian Wilson has died. Wilson co-founded the Beach Boys and co-wrote or wrote most of the band's music. That music ranged from feel-good, fun in the sun, coming-of-age songs to intricate compositions that influenced a host of musicians, including the Beatles. Ed Masley is the pop music critic and reporter at the Arizona Republic and azcentral.com, and he joins us now. Ed, good to have you on the show. I appreciate your work. I enjoy reading it. And I know that you saw quite a few Brian Wilson concerts later in life. Before we get to that, your thoughts on what happened today? I mean, it's just, the news is...
It's heartbreaking news. I mean, he lived such a... Well, he gave so much to all of us with his life, but his life was so troubled in many ways. There's so much sadness in his life. So, you know, it's sad to see him go.
Yeah, his impact on popular music in general. I've mentioned it a couple of times, and even in conversation, it's really hard to overstate that.
It is hard to overstate it. Yeah, I mean, he was hugely influential. He really pushed the boundaries of pop music and drove a lot of other people, a lot of other key artists to push the boundaries as well, especially, as you mentioned, the Beatles. There was a real rivalry going on there, and they were really pushing each other to that next step. And his music in the mid-'60s was as sophisticated as the Beatles and Burt Bacharach.
Yeah. How did that songcraft evolve from what seemed like Chuck Berry and I think Four Freshmen were part of his inspiration early on in the early 60s? Where did he get that, and how did he become Pet Sounds and on?
Well, I mean, he was really into others. He was really into classical music. He was really into Gershwin. He was into a lot of different types of music. And, you know, he quickly got to the point where he wanted to abandon that formula of the early hits with the, you know, the car songs, the girl songs, the surfing songs, and do something more sophisticated.
So that's pretty much what got him to experiment and stretch out a little bit, I've got to move on, you know.
Yeah, between that and the drugs.
Yeah, well, I guess we might as well talk about that. I mean, was that obviously the mental problems, the personal problems really started hitting in the mid-'60s, and they just kind of took a life of their own. Were drugs front and center on this?
Drugs were part of it. Abusive relationships in his life. His father, who managed the group, was very abusive. He suffered with depression. He had a nervous breakdown on the flight to a Beach Boys tour in the mid-'60s, at which point he retired from the road to focus on the music. And that's when he got more into drugs, which became another problem.
Talk about the father influence again, because I've read about that, and it was pretty scary stuff.
Yeah, he was physically abusive. He was psychologically abusive, emotionally abusive. And, you know, in many ways, he drove the group's early success. He kept them in line, but they fired him pretty quickly. He was their manager, and they fired him after that first wave of success.
And they got the success, and then Brian starts experimenting in a variety of ways. How did the other members of the Beach Boys take where he was going?
They didn't always like it. There's some dispute. Mike Love is now disputing that he ever had bad things to say about Pet Sounds. It's hard to say whose first-person account is real and whose isn't, but I tend to feel that Brian's probably a little more accurate on that. Yeah, they wanted the hits to keep coming. They wanted more songs like California Girls and Surfin' USA. They wanted to be America's band. They wanted to be the big rock band that was holding back the British invasion. And Brian wanting to do better music, they felt was threatening their chart superiority.
Yeah, and then we've mentioned it a couple of times, Pet Sounds, which is kind of an iconic album
it is.
in rock history. Why is it so revered, and why was it not a hit when it was released?
Well, I think it wasn't a hit in part because of what I just said. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't part of their formula so much. And I think it's so revered because it's so sophisticated. It really took rock and roll in a direction rock and roll had not gone before. And I think it did so with a lot of emotional resonance. There's, you know, Brian's wounded psyche really comes through in the music. And he didn't always write the lyrics, you know, but you could feel the sadness in the music.
That vulnerability that carried on after Pet Sounds. Pet Sounds almost seems like it's the Ridge. I mean, it's the before and after in some respects. I know Smile was a project, but it seemed like he had a vulnerability. It also seemed like between Fathers, Van Dyke Parks, and other people that he worked with, Eugene Landy, strong personalities just seemed like they buffeted him in different directions. Does that sound right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Eugene Landy definitely took advantage of his ability to be controlled.
Yes.
His tendency to be controlled. That was it was a weird relationship they had. I mean, Landy also got him to do his first solo record, which is a really good album. That album never would have existed without Landy, but Landy was not good for him.
Did that vulnerability, did it shine in the concerts? Did it show in the concerts? I never got a chance to see him live because, you know, I wasn't too sure about it. I've got that album, by the way, and it is a good album. I wasn't so sure about the concerts. You have seen a lot of his concerts.
I've seen him a lot. And, you know, you have to see him on his terms, you know. That vulnerability is right in your face in concert. He's obviously uncomfortable. He stares off into space. He's not always engaged in what's going on around him. But it kind of adds to the vulnerability and the emotional connection and the feeling that there's a human making this amazing music. I think it kind of added to the experience of seeing his concerts in a lot of ways.
Because I know you wrote about how sometimes he wasn't finishing songs and didn't have come in and go out on the right parts and things like this. That's got to be difficult to see.
It can be, yes. It can be. You know, it was there was a give and take there, right?
Right.
But I mean, I never missed a concert. If I could see Brian Wilson, I would go see Brian Wilson.
Isn't that something? As far as his legacy is concerned, music, pop culture, what do you see?
I see it lasting for a long, long time. I mean, you know, Rolling Stone just published their latest greatest albums of all time, and Pet Sounds stayed at #2, while everything else, all the boomer music fell. You know, the Beatles were like, "Where are the Beatles? I thought people used to talk about them." They went no, you know, they really ushered in this whole. They did their best to right the wrongs of past boomer-centric kind of journalism, and they put all these young acts up high, but there was Pet Sounds, #2.
Yeah.
And I think 20 years from now, Pet Sounds is going to be in the top 5. And I think it's just going to stay there.
Yeah, it's remarkable music. Ed Masley, Arizona Republic, azcentral.com. Thank you so much for showing up and sharing your memories of Brian Wilson.
Thank you for having us.